Pyramids of Giza, hidden chambers, before history began. Before there were empires, before there were kings, before history had a name, something rose from the desert, not slowly, not imperfectly, but fully formed, the Pyramids of Giza. For more than 4,500 years, they have stood in absolute silence. They have watched civilizations rise and disappear. They have survived floods, earthquakes, invasions, and the slow violence of time. And yet, we still don't know who truly built them. We still don't know how they were built. And most disturbingly, we are only now discovering that we may not even know what's inside them. Because hidden deep within these massive stone structures are chambers that were never recorded, never mapped, never meant to be opened. Chambers sealed with such precision that not even modern technology could see them. Until now. Tonight, you are not watching a history lesson. You are entering an investigation into the Pyramids of Giza's hidden chambers and the possibility that human civilization did not begin where we were told it did. Stay with me. Because once you see the evidence, there is no going back. The pyramids should not exist. According to mainstream history, the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2560 BCE. At that time, humans supposedly had no iron tools, no advanced mathematics, no precision surveying instruments, no machines, no written engineering manuals. And yet, they constructed the most precise stone structure ever built by human hands. The Great Pyramid originally stood 146.6 meters tall. Its base covers 13 acres. It contains 2.3 million stone blocks. Some blocks weigh over 80 tons, and each block is placed with a margin of error less than 0.5 millimeters. Even today, with cranes, lasers, and computers, we struggle to match this level of precision. This is not ancient luck. This is design. And design implies knowledge. The problem with the official story. You've probably heard this explanation. Thousands of slaves dragged stones up ramps. But archaeology has destroyed that myth. No chains, no mass graves, no slave quarters. Instead, we find evidence of skilled laborers, organized teams, medical treatment, nutritious diets. These were professionals. But here's the real problem. There is no evolutionary path leading to the Great Pyramid. Egyptian architecture does not gradually improve into it. It appears suddenly, perfectly, like a technological leap with no prior steps. And history does not work that way. Unless something is missing. Egypt before Egypt. What if Egypt didn't begin with dynasties? What if there was a forgotten chapter before the pharaohs? Ancient Egyptian records themselves hint at something disturbing. They speak of a time called Zep Tepi, the first time, an age when gods ruled the land, an age of divine knowledge, an age before recorded kings. Mainstream historians dismiss this as myth, but myths often preserve truth long after facts are forgotten. Because the pyramids do not match the technology of dynastic Egypt, they exceed it. The material that shouldn't be there. Inside the Great Pyramid is granite, not limestone, granite. Granite is one of the hardest stones on Earth. It contains quartz. It destroys copper tools. And yet, granite blocks inside the pyramid were cut with surgical precision, smooth, flat, perfectly squared. Modern engineers examining these cuts admit something shocking. They cannot reproduce them without advanced machinery. So how did ancient builders do it? And why place granite at the very heart of the pyramid? Granite is dense. Granite is radioactive. Granite vibrates under stress. This is not decorative. This is functional. The pyramid is a mathematical machine. The Great Pyramid encodes mathematics we supposedly discovered thousands of years later. Pi, phi, the golden ratio, Earth's dimensions, cardinal directions with extreme accuracy. Its alignment to true north is more precise than modern GPS measurements. Not magnetic north, true north. How did ancient builders determine that without satellites? They didn't guess, they knew. The stars are part of the design. The pyramids are not just aligned on Earth, they are aligned with the sky. The three main pyramids mirror the stars of Orion's belt. The internal shafts align with specific constellations. This is not symbolic, this is astronomical engineering. The pyramid was built to interact with the heavens, to channel something or connect something. The silence inside the pyramid. Here's a detail most people never hear. Inside the Great Pyramid, there are no hieroglyphics, no prayers, no spells, no prayers, nothing. Every other Egyptian tomb is covered in writing. The Great Pyramid is silent. That silence is deliberate, and silence usually hides something. The first clues of hidden chambers. As early explorers mapped the pyramid, they noticed something strange. Passages that led nowhere, shafts that ended abruptly, empty spaces where stone should be. The internal layout makes no sense for a tomb, but it makes perfect sense for a system with missing components. A system was sealed. Technology catches up. For centuries, we could only guess. Then modern physics entered the pyramid. Muon tomography. Particles from space passing through solid stone. For the first time in history, we could see inside the pyramid without touching it. What scientists found shocked the world. A massive void, hidden, sealed, unknown, and impossible to ignore. The discovery was announced quietly. No press conferences, no celebrations, just a scientific statement. There is a large void inside the Great Pyramid. No explanation, no access, no answers, only questions. Because if there is one hidden chamber, there may be more. And if they were sealed on purpose, then whatever lies inside was never meant to be found. We examine the known chambers and expose why their design points directly to something hidden above them, something massive, something deliberate, something waiting. Inside the known chambers and why they don't make sense. Entering the pyramid. To understand what is hidden, we must first understand what we are allowed to see. The entrance to the Great Pyramid is not where ancient builders intended. The original entrance was sealed. What visitors use today was forced open in the 9th century by Caliph al-Mamun. He tunneled blindly through limestone, hoping to find treasure. Instead, he found silence. But he also revealed something else. The pyramid was already empty. No mummy, no burial goods, no inscriptions, only passages. Passages that descend and ascend, as if guiding something through the structure. Downward. The first corridor plunges downward, steep, narrow, oppressive. It leads deep into the bedrock beneath the pyramid. This passage ends in an unfinished chamber, rough, crude, abandoned. Egyptologists call it the subterranean chamber. But why begin a monument with a chamber that looks abandoned? Why carve deep into solid rock only to leave it incomplete? Some believe this chamber was never meant to be finished. Others believe it served a function we no longer understand. Acoustics here are strange. Vibrations behave differently. And ancient cultures often believed the underworld lay beneath stone. This was not random. Upward. At a precise point, the descending passage splits. One path continues down, the other rises upward at a steep angle. This ascending passage was sealed with granite plugs, not limestone, granite. 3 massive granite blocks carefully fitted to block access. Why seal a passage inside a tomb? Tombs are meant to be entered. Sealing implies protection. Protection implies value. Whatever lay beyond was important enough to lock away forever. The Grand Gallery. Then, the pyramid opens up. The Grand Gallery. 8.5 meters high, 47 meters long, perfectly symmetrical, impossibly precise. Its walls step inward like a corbelled vault. Some believe it supported weight, others believe it guided something. Sound travels strangely here. A whisper echoes unnaturally. Low frequencies resonate. The discovery that changed everything. The day science entered the pyramid. For thousands of years, the Great Pyramid resisted us. Every attempt to explore deeper meant drilling, cutting, damaging. And no one wanted to be responsible for harming the most important monument in human history. So the mystery stayed intact, until science changed the rules. Not with picks or drills, but with particles from space. What are muons? Every second of every day, Earth is bombarded by cosmic radiation. When these particles strike our atmosphere, they create something called muons. Muons are invisible. They pass through solid stone. They are stopped only by extreme density. Scientists realized something revolutionary. If muons pass through stone and are detected on the other side, then missing stone, empty space, would show up clearly. This is muon tomography, the same technology used to scan volcanoes and nuclear reactors. And now, ancient pyramids. Scan Pyramids project began. In 2015, an international team of scientists launched the Scan Pyramids project. Their mission was simple: scan the Great Pyramid without touching it. No drilling, no destruction, just physics. They placed detectors inside the pyramid and others outside. And then they waited for months, as muons silently passed through stone that had not been penetrated in 4,500 years. The first anomalies. At first, everything looked normal. Stone where stone should be, density consistent with expectations. But then, something appeared. A region where muons passed through too easily, meaning less stone, meaning empty space. At first, scientists assumed error. They recalibrated, they double-checked, they waited longer. The anomaly remained. Then another detector confirmed it. Then a third. This was no glitch. The announcement that shocked the world. In November 2017, the Scan Pyramids team made history. They announced the discovery of a previously unknown void inside the Great Pyramid. The media called it the Big Void. It was at least 30 meters long, larger than the King's Chamber, located above the Grand Gallery, completely sealed. No known entrance, no historical record, no explanation. For the first time in modern history, humanity confirmed the Great Pyramid was hiding something massive. The quiet reaction. You would expect global headlines, emergency meetings, immediate exploration. But something strange happened. Silence. Egyptian authorities downplayed the discovery. Some officials dismissed it as structural. But engineers disagreed. The void was too large, too deliberate, too symmetrical. And ancient Egyptian builders did not waste effort. They did not carve massive empty spaces for no reason. Why structural doesn't make sense. Let's be clear. The pyramid already stood for millennia without collapsing. It does not need additional stress relief. And even if it did, why make a void that mirrors the Grand Gallery? Why align it perfectly along the pyramid's central axis? Why seal it completely? Structural spaces are accessible. This one is not, because it was never meant to be accessed. Symmetry never lies. Ancient Egyptian architecture is obsessed with balance. If something exists on one side, it usually exists on the other. If something exists below, it exists above. The big void sits exactly where logic says another chamber should exist, but it doesn't match any known function, which means it serves a function we don't understand. What scientists won't say out loud. Privately, many researchers admit something. The big void is not random. It is not accidental. It was planned. But publicly, they hesitate, because admitting intent means admitting intelligence, advanced intelligence, and that opens doors history is not ready to walk through. Could there be more? Muon scans show something else. Density anomalies in other areas, smaller voids, unmapped spaces, not confirmed yet, but suggested. If there is one hidden chamber, there may be several, a network, and networks imply purpose. Why the void has not been opened? So, why not explore it? Simple. There is no visible entrance. Any attempt would require drilling, and drilling risks damage. But there is another reason. Opening the void could reveal objects, texts, technologies, evidence of pre-dynastic knowledge, and that would rewrite history. Institutions do not move quickly when history is at risk. A pattern repeats. This is not the first time. Göbekli Tepe, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu. Advanced sites appear fully formed. Then explanations arrive later. The pyramids fit this pattern, and the big void is the loudest proof yet that something was hidden intentionally. The doors that were never meant to be opened. The Queen's Chamber is a lie, not intentionally, but functionally. Despite its name, no queen was ever buried here. No sarcophagus, no inscriptions, no burial equipment. Nothing. Yet its construction rivals the king's chamber in precision. Why build a chamber with no occupant? Unless it was never a chamber. Shafts that don't lead out. Unlike the king's chamber, the queen's chamber has two shafts, but these shafts do not exit the pyramid. They stop, abruptly, sealed. For centuries, scholars assumed they were unfinished ventilation ducts, but ancient Egyptians did not build half-finished ducts inside their most sacred monument. They built with intention, and intention always leaves patterns. The first robot descends. In 1993, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a robot named Upout 2 into the southern shaft. For the first time in history, human eyes would see where the shaft truly led. The robot crawled, meter by meter, until it reached something impossible. A door. Smooth limestone, perfectly cut, with two copper handles. Not decoration, handles. A door with handles inside a pyramid. This was not symbolic. This was mechanical. Doors with handles are meant to be opened. But from which side? Because no human could reach this door from the outside, meaning the handles faced inward. Someone inside was meant to open it. The mission is stopped. Shortly after the discovery, the project was halted. Funding disappeared. Access was restricted. Years passed. Silence. Then, in 2002, a second robot drilled a tiny hole through the door. A camera peered inside and revealed another door. Doors behind doors. This was no accident. This was a system. Door, space, door again. This is not burial architecture. This is security architecture, used to delay, to confuse, to protect. And ancient Egyptians did not protect emptiness. The northern shaft reveals more. When the northern shaft was explored, another door was found. Same design, same copper handles, perfect symmetry. Two shafts, two sealed doors, balanced, intentional. This was not random construction. This was planning. What were the doors for? Mainstream explanation? Symbolic doors for the soul. But symbols do not need handles, precision seals, multi-door systems. Symbols are carved. These were engineered. You do not build a vault for mythology. You build it to contain something. Consider this. The pyramid has restricted access points, false chambers, weight relief blocks, sealed shafts, doors behind doors, hidden voids. This is not a tomb. This is a sealed structure, designed to remain closed forever. Time-locked knowledge. Some researchers suggest the pyramid was not meant for its builders, but for the future. A time capsule. Knowledge preserved until humanity reached a certain level. But what kind of knowledge requires such extreme protection? The problem with opening it. Opening sealed chambers can destroy context. Air degrades organic material. Light degrades pigment. Radiation alters matter. Whatever is inside has survived 4,500 years only because it remained sealed. One mistake. The code written in the stars. The night sky as a blueprint. Look up. Before clocks, before compasses, before written history, humans looked to the sky. And the builders of the Great Pyramid did not just observe the stars, they used them. Perfect alignment impossible by chance. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an error of less than 0.05 degrees. Even today, this level of accuracy requires advanced instruments, yet the official explanation claims it was achieved with ropes and shadows. But shadows move, stars don't. Orion connection. 3 pyramids, 3 stars. Orion's belt. The layout of Giza mirrors the sky, not loosely, precisely. Even the slight offset of the 3rd pyramid matches the slight offset of the 3rd star. Coincidence or deliberate replication? Shafts that target stars. The internal shafts are not random. The southern shaft from the King's Chamber aligns with Alnitak, a star in Orion's belt. The northern shaft points to Thuban, the pole star at the time. Not symbolic, functional. The age of Orion. Due to precession, the stars shift over time. The Orion alignment at Giza matches 10,500 BCE, not 2,500 BCE. That date aligns with global flooding myths, the end of the Ice Age, and sudden climate catastrophe. Why would pyramids built in 2,500 BCE encode a sky from 10,500 BCE? Unless they remembered something older. Mathematics beyond decoration. The pyramid encodes pi, phi, the golden ratio, Earth's circumference, latitude equals speed of light. Random or intentional? Because primitive builders do not accidentally encode constants discovered thousands of years later. The pyramid as a machine. The Great Pyramid was once covered in polished white limestone, reflective, brilliant. Inside, granite, rich in quartz. Quartz vibrates under pressure. Piezoelectric. Sound, vibration, energy. This was not just stone. It was a resonator. Frequencies locked in stone. Researchers have found the pyramid amplifies certain frequencies. Low-frequency resonance travels through granite. The chambers act like tuning forks. The entire structure behaves like an instrument, but instruments are meant to be played. What was it tuned to? Earth's natural frequency, the Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hz, the frequency of the human brain in a calm, receptive state, meditation, dreaming, vision. The pyramid may not transmit outward, it may tune inward. Initiation, not burial. Ancient texts describe rituals inside the pyramid. Darkness, silence, isolation. The initiate enters one way, emerges changed. The pyramid was not a tomb, it was a transformer of consciousness. Star origin myths repeat. Egyptian texts speak of the soul returning to the stars. Mayan myths say humans came from the sky. Sumerian tablets describe gods descending. Different cultures, same message. The stars were not gods, they were home. The key was never physical. If the pyramid is locked, the key is not metal, it's alignment, time, frequency, consciousness. The chambers open when the observer is ready, not when technology is. The pyramid aligns with stars, encodes mathematics, amplifies consciousness, which leaves one terrifying question. What happens if we activate it again? Pyramids of Giza, hidden chambers, the final revelation. The scans that changed everything. In 2015, scientists did something no ancient builder could anticipate. They looked inside the Great Pyramid without opening it. Muon tomography. Cosmic particles passing through stone. And what they found should not exist. The Great Void. Above the Grand Gallery, a massive empty space, at least 30 meters long, perfectly shaped, unknown purpose, no entrance, no exit, no explanation. This was not structural, this was intentional. Why it shattered the official story? Egyptology had a problem, because tombs don't have secret voids. Engineering doesn't require mystery chambers, and monuments don't hide space without reason, unless something is missing or sealed. What could survive 4,500 years? Organic material would decay, metal would corrode, but stone, crystal, and geometry endure. Some theorize a chamber of knowledge, a resonance device, a map of the sky, or nothing physical at all. But even nothing was placed there on purpose. Why no one opens it? Opening the void risks structural collapse, loss of context, political fallout. But there's another reason. What if the void contradicts everything? What if it proves the pyramid is older or not Egyptian? History is not just studied, it's protected. The pattern goes global. Hidden chambers exist worldwide. Teotihuacan tunnels, Göbekli Tepe stone enclosures, Bosnian pyramid anomalies. Same pattern. Advanced stonework, sudden appearance, no developmental stages. Civilization does not evolve like this. It appears, then vanishes. The reset theory. What if humanity has risen before? What if the pyramids were built after a collapse, a message left behind, a warning, or a backup of knowledge from a lost world? Why it still matters today? We live in a fragile age. Climate change, AI, nuclear risk. The builders may have known civilization does not last forever, and they built something to survive us. The final lock is us. The pyramid hasn't opened because we haven't changed. We seek treasure. They preserved wisdom. We want answers. They demand understanding. The door isn't sealed by stone. It's sealed by mindset. The pyramid still watches. The Great Pyramid still aligns with the stars, still resonates, still stands untouched, not as a ruin, but as a sentinel, waiting. If this structure was never meant for pharaohs, if this was never meant for Egypt, Then who was it built for? And more importantly, when? The pyramids are not silent. We just forgot how to listen. History remembers dates. Stone remembers truth.